All right, we are back. It is time for the last match of the night. Rise Nation versus Faze. Let's take a look at our standings when we get a moment. Faze, you'll see, pretty darn high up there, Courage. Rise, they were in the number 11 spot for quite a while. Number 2 going up against what's Rise now? Number 9 overall?
Something along those lines, I believe. Yeah, 9th or possibly.
Yeah, 9. Nailed it.
Good call.
This is a massive victory for Rise because you just saw Envy got their 6th loss of the season handed to them by Orbit.
Yep.
They're tied with Orbit coming into this match. Can Rise jump up the leaderboard? This would be a massive victory against our number 2 seed, and we're opening things up with one of the most explosive players in the game. I love watching Apathy. His team got the better spawn for this first hardpoint. Can they take advantage of it?
Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to, as Zuma has already fully flanked around, picked up 2 Wheats, wins a big gunfight inside the hardpoint. Clayster now beginning to break with the help of his team, utilizing that little dolphin dive technique. 9-5 off the start. Chris, when you look at things though, Faze the best team in the game in hardpoint. I believe they're currently 11-2 in the game mode, outslaying their opposing teams by about 18 kills. Fully expect to see that happen here in game number 1.
Pretty solid performance so far from Faze in your opening minute. Can they keep it up? You said they're the best team in hardpoint right now. What makes this team so good at slaying, though?
I mean, well, just 1, their raw gun skill. 2, their teamwork so far and their team chemistry is absolutely, well, I'd argue it's the best in the game currently at the moment. And really, what I love about this team is that it's pure communication led by Enable. It's just confidence. It's good, always in positive mood. We heard from the main ref at UMG Dallas. He said of all the teams that played in the booths this weekend, Faze was by far the most positive during even the worst of times in their games, and it paid off. Led by Enable, this Faze team is a force to be reckoned with.
You know, I always thought we were going to see Clayster kind of become the face of Denial and just maintain that position as their leader. I was shocked when he decided to leave Denial, bring in Attach with him after winning the World Championship. They joined up alongside Enable and Zuma, and honestly, it's the first time this season that we see a team that can consistently compete with Optic Gaming. I'm really looking forward to this next event this weekend at Gfinity. Can Faze do it again? Can they take home their 2nd LAN tournament in a row?
Something that we will have to find out about. Obviously, some of the best teams in the game can be present this weekend at Gfinity. Would have loved to have seen the full Denial squad there, but unfortunately, due to age restrictions, they will not be fielding their full roster. So far, though, in this game, Rise has 3 players inside the hardpoint. Now the pinch from Faze begins. Burns always so dominant up in that top box area. Unfortunately, though, he gets cut down. A beautiful break from Faze. Attach now beginning to light up the map.
Yeah, and you see only Enable outside of Clayster is positive at the moment. I have a feeling this is Clay's host because he is feeling it. 16-5 on a 7 streak. Going for number 8 outside. Runs out of ammo. Pulls out the SMG and finishes Wheats.
This is just ridiculous. 17-5 on an 8 streak. Staying alive. Finally getting cut down. That took 3 players off the respawn time and time again to be able to just take him down once. 78-43, the number 1 reason why his team finds themselves up by such a large margin.
After Clayster went on that massive run, though, I saw Apathy drop a triple kill in the feed. The only player to kill him, a teammate. That was Chino, who ended his run. Apathy off to a pretty good start, 12-10, 5 captures, most in the game at the moment. Burns, he was brought in from Orbit, a big addition to the squad. They wanted him not only because of his SMG skill, but also his age. And now we'll see this Rise Nation squad also attending their first LAN tournament together over in the UK.
Chris, I don't think I received word, but who's hosting this map?
This is Faze, Clayster's host most likely.
All right, so Clay, obviously doing very well if it is his host. Right now, though, still only 20 seconds separating these 2 teams. Faze typically gets better as the game goes on, though, Puckett, is because they stay so consistent in their kills. They continue slaying, The gunfights begin to go more and more in their favor because their opponents just can't seem to keep up.
Weed's doing some damage with the ASM-1, is going to be rotating through. I'm staying on board with Rise for a while because everyone says this is going to be a quick 3-0 in favor of Faze. I don't think it's going to be that easy. I have a feeling Rise will be able to keep up with Faze in some of these respawns. Will they be able to steal a hard point? That's another story. but anything's possible, especially if you keep getting Apathy playing the way he is. A 5 streak now after that nasty 3-piece.
Yeah, doing some incredible things inside the hard point for his team. The second 3-piece of this game, regaining control of mid-bio for his squad. They now are down by just 11 seconds, but Zuma pushes in and gets a 2-piece of his own. They're continuing to flood from either angle. Chino now begins to hop inside the hill, picks up 1 kill, gets taken out by Zuma again. 103 to 85, and we're halfway through the game.
Kind of crazy to think of all the team changes Rise went through. First, they had TJ and Gunjar as they picked him up right as Season 3 was kicking off. Then, of course, bringing Apathy over and the trade to Elevate as they lost TJ. And most recently, bringing Burns into the mix in place of TCM, who was originally put on the squad as a sub. They're trying to mount their comeback in the leaderboard of our Pro League. This is a huge matchup. And in the first 5 minutes, you got to be impressed with the way they're able to hang. They're down less than 20 points. As I say that, it looks like Faze is able to get total control of the mid-map.
Honestly, this is a much closer game than I would have ever expected, but it's because of plays like what Apathy just did. A beautiful 2-piece when really the odds were stacked up against him. He's had a couple 3-pieces this game too, which have been absolutely electric. But Chris, if you've begun to notice a trend, the kill feed going more and more in favor of Faze.
Yep.
Now 3 of their 4 players either even or positive. A positive 14 double 2.0 KD performance from Clayster right now. He's 27 and 13.
And we're going to take a look at Clay coming off the respawn. For now, though, on board with Zuma. In my book, Zuma, the most impressive player throughout Pro League in Season 3. If you just look at his performance every single match, the boy brings it. Not only is he on top of the leaderboard, but he's constantly in the action, and he's known to drop massive kills whenever they need it most. Zuma gonna fall. 3 straight kills in your feed once again for Rise. Apathy with 2 of them, and he is gonna be holding down that back red stairs, working with Wheats. Nice teamwork. Both players falling down, though. Burns has to hold on.
Clay picks up another, and Faze doing what they do best. That's chaining together some kills to regain control of the map. There, Chino jumps off, so a 50-second lead with just over 3 minutes remaining. Can Faze close out game number 1?
Faze definitely pulled away. What was 20 points separating the squads is now 50. And that number is growing. Chino with a big double kill. They needed that. They need every last second. And most importantly, they need to hold on to blue control. Wheats gonna get swarmed from 2 directions. Gets 1, feels the pressure, guesses wrong. Chino on rotation. Burns dropped in blue. This is Faze's hill now. Rise needs to break right away, or this game, you can basically call it now, it will be finished.
Attach. Just holding down this bottom snow area, even with a sub. Making sure that no matter what happens, his team is in the best positioning possible. Now that Clay has respawned, he's regained control of that area of the map. All things leading to Faze taking game number 1 really with ease now as they are up by a full minute.
Big nade coming through from Apathy, takes out Clayster, stops the scoring for at least a second. 60-point difference now. Gosh, Zuma from the window with another 2-piece.
Getting destroyed.
Enable finishing his teammate, but it doesn't matter. It's an all-red kill feed. No one from Orbit scoring kills at this point, despite Apathy's 31 and 29 performance. Everyone else on the squad basically negative 10 here for Rise. This is going to be really difficult. Faze set up to lock it in here, potentially on this next hardpoint at green.
Faze now positive 27 in slaying this game. They've completely put the score in their favor. If they can just break this green hardpoint once, that'll basically be game. Still a 70-second lead. Enable just destroyed Apathy.
Zuma getting the job done effortlessly, charges into the hardpoint, attach, leading with grenades, gets the double stun down low. Enable cleans up the 2-piece, and now Clayster in your feed as well with a 2-piece of his own. Faze finishing strong here. It's going to go at least one more hard point, but now it's just a question of how many kills is Clayster going to be able to rack up before this game's done.
42 and 22. He's swapping between every weapon you could even imagine. Just locking down the map for his team, locking down the hard point. Almost turned on one player there, top green. 80-second lead. With only a minute remaining, the Red Militia going to go up 1-0 in the series. No surprise here for me, Chris. I don't expect any team, honestly, in the game right now to beat Faze at hardpoint.
It was, what, 120 to 142 at some point? And then you just see Faze only allow Rise another 30 points. A fantastic finish from Faze. Solid slaying across the board. Everyone putting up decent numbers. Attached at the bottom of the list, though. A little bit surprising for an SMG player on this map. I expected a little bit more out of Attach, but you definitely got the kills you needed from Zuma, Enable, and Clayster. On the other side, we touched on it earlier, Apathy, a phenomenal performance. 10 captures, 37 kills, nearing almost 80 interactions in this game.
Clayster has just been a man on a mission the second half of this game. 47 and 25. He's not losing gunfights. There, Zuma actually just had to kill him to calm him down a little bit more. 242 to 162. A dominant Game 1 performance from FaZe as they outslay their opponents by about 35 kills.
Pretty solid performance from FaZe on host in game number 1. But coming up next, it's Rise with an opportunity to answer back. The map is going to be Riot as we head over for some search and destroy. As we head out to commercial break, here's a look at your stats.